Greetings, everyone. This is Miss Lennon, and I am excited to be your virtual host for Women's History Month. I love when March comes around, and three words describe this month for me: strength, history, and progress. Let's get right into it. I saw this beautiful image when I was looking through for resources for this PowerPoint. And I love this quote, so I wanted to share. I do not wish to give women a first place, still less a second one, but the complete freedom to take their true place, whatever that may be. This quote is by Elizabeth Blackwell, one of the first female medical doctors in America. Women's History Month. Who cares? Let me tell you why you should care. Take a minute and close your eyes. Take a minute and close them. I see you peeking. Imagine a world where it was against the law for a woman to vote. Let that sink in. Now open your eyes. If that isn't reason enough to really celebrate in March, I don't know what it is. But let me take you on a tour of the past real quick so we can appreciate what we have in the present and why we should care should be at the front of your mind. While progress has been made, women's contribution to the social fabric were often told with men forward facing. We were always the sidekicks or the woman beside the man, but our contributions weren't put in front. Due to social or sometimes cultural reasons, women's voices were justified in being suppressed throughout history. Women could not handle the vote was an actual quote said by several slave owners in 1866 when the thought of women voting even began to come up. Due to a woman's physical and emotional makeup, people believed that her ability to hold office could put nations at risk. While these seem very antiquated now, back during these times, this was a common thought. Women were not able to have say in their own families, a place in society, or government. In 1920, women were given the right to vote under the 19th Amendment. Pause right there. 1920. That wasn't long ago, ladies and gentlemen. My great grandmother remembers not voting. Women were admitted to 19th century mental institutions for very simple reasons. Let me break it down a little bit. So I found this in a study from the University of Wisconsin's Board of Regents from 2006. I'm going to read this to you. The symptoms qualifying a woman's need for admittance during these times would be considered controversial in the present day. Symptoms such as depression after the death of a loved one, use of abusive language, not being or were not accepted as reasons for admittance to a mental institution today, but were commonly accepted as reasons in the 19th century. Can you imagine if you look at these pictures, women just dealing with regular issues? I'm sure sometimes you're sad after a death of a loved one were deemed as crazy and they were admitted to insane asylums. Why do we celebrate Women's History Month? We've come a long way. So, I hope you get it now. Women's History Month, hashtag kind of a big deal. If you want, you can even stop and start to think about some other things in the past or research them that women had no right to do then, but now are able. Let's talk progress. While this slide can go on and on, I picked just a few that stood out for progress we have made in America in the area of equal rights. I'll just start with since 1995, the number of women serving in the legislatures, statewide and nationwide, have doubled. In late October, the first all female spacewalk took place. And in 2020, the United States elected their first female vice president. Think about the people in your local community, the women in your local, on your local school board or your local business owners, and them not having that opportunity. Progress has definitely been made. I wanted to take a different approach this year to our Women's History Month program. I simply wanted to hear from our own staff here at Charlotte Mecklenburg Virtual High School about women that they admired or experiences they faced being a woman and their view on progress from times in the past to current day. So let's start with Miss Rogers. When I asked her what was inspiring about Women's History Month, she said Oprah Winfrey. She's pictured there. She's an American talk show host, television producer, actress, author, and philanthropist. She is best known for her talk show, The Oprah Winfrey Show. Y'all might have not been alive when that show was on. But she is dubbed the Queen of all media, and she's the richest African American of the 20th century. Miss Rogers, I see why you chose Oprah Winfrey. Miss Davis said Michelle Obama inspired her. I love the two pictures. They even look similar. That's why I chose this one. Miss Davis is gorgeous. Michelle Obama was the first lady of the 44th president, Barack Obama. She is also the first African American first lady of the United States. Through her four main initiatives, she became a role model and an advocate for women and healthy families. Michelle Obama has been an example for women all across the world. Miss Davis, I see why you picked her. Miss South shared Kamala Harris. She is an American politician and attorney serving as the 49th president of the United States. I have this cool shirt and it says on it, I'm speaking, but it's dirty, so I couldn't put it on. But she is the first African American and first Asian American vice president. Talk about an accomplishment. Miss South, I get why you picked Kamala Harris. Miss Jackson, Miss DC herself, she chose Kimberly Bryant. She was one of the first women to step out and start organizations and a 501c3, a nonprofit for Black Girls Code in 2011. Having studied electrical engineering in college, Bryant said, I don't want my daughter to feel culturally isolated in the pursuit of her studies as I had as a young girl. I didn't want her to give up on her passions just because she didn't see anyone else like her in the classroom who was a girl. Miss Jackson, rock on. Miss McLean chose Rosalind Brewer. She's right here. She is an American businesswoman who was slated to become the CEO of Walgreens this month. She will also be the only Black female CEO of a Fortune 500 company. She is currently the COO of Starbucks and the former president and CEO of Sam's Club, a division of Walmart stores. Wow, these are some huge accomplishments. I agree with you, Miss McLean. She is completely inspiring. Miss Rubel, this was one of my favorite. She immediately shouted out, Rosalind Franklin. Rosalind Franklin made a crucial contribution to the discovery of the double helix structure. And when Miss Rubel explained it, she said that Miss Franklin actually was the genius behind the Watson and Crick DNA discovery of the double helix DNA, but didn't get a lot of the credit. Why? Because she was a woman. While her history is not known, we remember her today and recognize her genius. Thanks so much, Miss Rubel. I learned something also. Miss Eiler shared a personal story. I want to read what she went through as a woman interviewing in a dominant male field. Let's just read the story. In 1999, I was newly married and I moved from New York City to join my husband in Philadelphia. I was working in banking then and had an interview for a banking job in Philadelphia. On my resume, it said that I had attended Duke and Columbia universities and that I had worked in an investment banking in both New York and London. The older gentleman interviewing me glanced briefly at my resume, then noticed my wedding ring. He asked, "Are you married?" I replied, "Yes." Then he asked, "Where did your husband go to college?" She said it was the same college his son attended. So he hired me. He never asked me about my education or experience, not once. Let that sink in. 1999. And the interviewer didn't ask her about her experience, not once. Miss Eilers, thank you for sharing that story. And to see where you are now shows so much of your resilience and progress. Miss Stoll picked Barbara Walters. Barbara Jill Walters is an American retired broadcast journalist, author, and television personality. She's known for interviewing the stars. Some of her top shows are The View, 2020, and the ABC Evening News. Barbara Walters broke glass ceilings all the time. Miss Stoll, wonderful choice. Mr. Klein loves sports, so it's no surprise that he picked Sarah Thomas. She is an American football official currently for the NFL. She was the first woman to officiate a major college football game, a bowl game, and a Big Ten official in their stadium. She has continued to officiate in the NFL and has made huge strides for women. Mr. Klein, I love it. Miss Glover is actually women's history come alive. She is a business owner. She owns Applause Salon, and it's the only full service African American salon located in a mall in Charlotte, North Carolina. Talk about women that really step out. Thank you, Miss Glover, for being living history. For mine, it's going to get a little emotional, but these women are your teachers and your instructors and your support systems. And sometimes in history, we neglect to look at what's right before us. All of these women, including my mother right here, are my inspiration for Women's History Month. They remind me every day of my greatness, even when I don't feel great. They give me teaching tips that help you to become a better student. And they are always there when I have a need. It may not be a big history accomplishment, but it's making an everyday impact in my life. And they inspire me. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Mom. In conclusion, I loved this picture. History has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. This quote was by Michelle Obama. Happy Women's History Month, CMVHS. Take time this month to thank a woman that has been a trailblazer in your local community or even in your life. Take the time to study women of the past, such as Harriet Tubman, Michelle Obama, some of the women we mentioned today. Continue to be an advocate for a more inclusive world. Have a great day, guys.